Your 20s can be completely overwhelming. You're trying to figure out a career, live on your own, and manage money for the very first time. I totally get it. I've been there. But this is also the single best decade to lay the foundation for lifelong financial security. As someone who had to figure it all out, I can tell you the habits and choices you make right now will have a profound impact on shaping your future. It's not about being perfect, it's about starting. And in this video, I'm going to give you the 4 major milestones to hit in your 20s to build a future of financial freedom and how I personally handled each of those milestones in my own life. If this is something you're into, then hit the like and subscribe button and keep watching. This first milestone may not feel like a huge achievement, but it's something most people completely overlook. Before you can make progress, you have to define what you're aiming for. You need to define your financial goals to create a clear plan for your money. Having a bigger goal or dream is what reduces anxiety and brings clarity to your financial life. This is especially important for your 20s for one key reason. Your expenses are usually lower than they ever will be. For a lot of you, there's no mortgage yet, no kids, and some smaller bills. That means you have more flexibility to build healthy habits and firepower towards that goal before life gets more complicated. I get it. You're used to living your life in short time frames. High school was 4 years, college was 4 years, grad school 2 years. The thought of a 5 or 10-year goal can be completely overwhelming and stressful. But you need to start getting comfortable looking further ahead. Retirement is not something you need to be worrying about, but it is something you should be expecting, for example. Don't ignore it just because it's far in the future. Here were my personal financial goals for my 20s. I knew I wanted to travel. Travel is a huge passion of mine, and I was always saving money for my next trip. I also knew that eventually I wanted children, and my dream for what that was to be able to pause my work, take a step back, and spend time with them while they were still little to later return to the workforce. I had to start preparing for that future and give myself that flexibility starting several years before I was even pregnant. A great tool for becoming more financially literate and actually start learning about money is the Money Game Plan. It's the step-by-step framework that removes the guesswork by showing you exactly what to do with your next dollar. Having a framework like this brings peace of mind and gives you confidence in your decisions, even if you're starting from zero with no prior knowledge or experience. The next milestone is all about what not to do: carry consumer debt. High interest consumer debt is the #1 obstacle to building wealth in your 20s. The 2 most harmful forms are credit card debt and auto loans. Let's start with credit cards. With interest rates typically between 20 and 30%, it's a financial trap. The average Gen Z consumer has a balance of around $3,400. If you only make the minimum payment, which is often around 2% of the balance, most of your money goes towards interest, not progress. You're stuck in a cycle, sending your money to the bank instead of building your own future. Then there are auto loans. The average loan for a used car is over $27,000 with interest rates that can easily top 7% or more. That often translates into a monthly payment of $400 to $500 or even more than that. You're literally driving around your wealth, watching it depreciate every single day. The goal is to avoid or eliminate this kind of debt as quickly as possible so you can redirect those payments towards your future, not your past. To put it in perspective, $500 a month invested from age 25 to 65 would be around $2.5 million. So it's totally possible to retire a multimillionaire and, more importantly, not have to stress about retirement if you can really focus on just not having a car payment. For me, personally, I was diligent about paying my credit card off in full every month in my 20s. So when the time came to get a home loan, I had an amazing credit score and I got fantastic interest rate, which saved me a ton of money. I was also living in a city, so I could take public transportation, and I put off buying a car for as long as I possibly could. When I eventually moved to the suburbs, I bought a car and I was able to pay cash since I had been focused on investing what would have been my car payment. And trust me, I plan on driving this car for a very long time. Now, this is the milestone I'm most passionate about. If you're in your 20s, the biggest wealth building advantage you have is time. You are a billionaire of time, and you have to use it. Even small amounts of money saved and invested early will grow massively over the decades, thanks to the power of compound interest. I know what people delay saving. you're on an entry-level salary, you have rent, student loans, and a social life to pay for. The world is your oyster, and it can feel like saving is just impossible or the lowest priority. But if you start now, even tiny amounts will add up in a huge way. Let's look at the power of compound interest. Say your goal is to retire with $1 million by age 65. If you start investing at age 20, you only need to invest about $95 a month. If you wait just 5 years and start at age 25, that number nearly doubles to about $180 a month. And if you wait until you're 30, it more than triples to $340 a month. Waiting just a decade to start means you have to save 4 times as much every single month just to reach the same goal. This shows that time is your most valuable asset when it comes to building wealth. Start now, even if it feels small. So, how did I personally save in my 20s? I did it in my 401k. My employer, right out of college, offered a 401k match 100% up to 6% of your income. So I maxed it out. 6% of my income, every paycheck went right into the 401k. I didn't even see it hit my bank account. Was it sad to see less money in my account every month? Sure. Was it fun after a couple of years to see how much I already had saved? Definitely. When I plug the numbers in, I keep reminding myself how worth it that decision really was, especially after years of compound interest. Full transparency, I was not making enough to max it out by any means. I was able to get the match, but the limit was like $20,000 at the time to max out a 401k, and I was making around 50 or 60,000, so I could definitely not afford to be saving the full $20,000 every year and still be able to afford my rent. I did, however, max out my Roth IRA, which at the time was between 5 or 6,000 as the government limit, and I invested it in a target date-based index fund. So in my 20s, that amount of money I knew would make me a millionaire in retirement and gave me total peace about the future. I never felt like I was falling behind, even if my day-to-day monthly budget could get kind of tight. Okay, so this is going to be your capstone goal for the decade. After building a plan, attacking debt, and starting to invest, you should aim to have 1 times your annual income invested by the time you're 30. So what does that look like? The median salary for someone between 25 and 34 is about $59,000 a year. So let's say your income is closer to the median for your early 20s, so around $45,000 a year. If you save just 10% of that, which is $4,500 a year or $375 a month, and start at age 22, you can reach the goal of having $45,000 invested by age 28. Even without big raises or increasing your savings rate, it is achievable with consistency and discipline. But don't stress it if your income fluctuates. A good tip is to average your last 3 years of earnings to create a more realistic benchmark for yourself. And when you do get raises, try to avoid lifestyle creep. Instead of getting a bigger apartment or a fancier car, increase your savings rate. Use that extra income to accelerate your progress toward your goals. Reaching this milestone proves you are living below your means and you're not just surviving, you're actively building wealth. It marks the critical shift from financial survival to financial strategy and eventually to freedom. With my retirement savings in my Roth IRA and my 401k with the match, I was able to achieve this. It gave me some breathing room, and going back to that original big goal I had, I knew that if I decided to take a step back from the workforce and give up that employer match, I would still be on track for my retirement thanks to compound interest and the capital I had already accumulated. Your 20s are the most critical years for establishing lasting financial health. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This is what I want you to be doing. Number 1, define your financial goals and create a plan. Number 2, avoid or eliminate high interest consumer debt. And number 3, start saving and investing early, no matter how small. Number 4, aim to have 1 times your annual income invested by age 30. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all of this, just remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every small step you take in the right direction brings you closer to financial independence. Stay disciplined, avoid debt, save regularly, and invest wisely. You're already on your way to a brighter financial future. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel, and we can help more people out there hit their money milestones. I'll see you in the next one.